Today, my special guest on the Win Daily Show, I have Rob Rivera, co-founder and president of The Black Hole. Rob, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing great, Michael. How about yourself?
It's a good day to be alive, man. It's a good day to be alive, isn't it? But thank you so much for joining me again. I'm super excited to get to ask you some questions about the black hole, how it started, and everything. But the first question I always like to ask people to really set the stage for this conversation. Over here at Win Daily, we're trying to help people win daily at sports. We're also trying to help people win daily at life. So we really do think of it as a mindset. So, what does it mean for you to win daily?
Man, personally, so I'm not a big gambler. I'm not somebody that participates in fantasy sports or anything like that. I know that that's what your group is all about. I have a lot of members that participate, so they'll probably be interested in following you guys going forward, because that is their world. They get into it. But I probably would be the worst fantasy sports player because all of my guys would be in silver and black, and that wouldn't work out too well. So, what wins for me, man, is just doing the best I can on a daily basis. And at the night when I lay my head on the pillow, that I've done all I can for my family and loved ones, and try to make most of each and every day. So that's my win, brother.
That's what we like to hear, man. As I said, we try and help people make money, but at the same time, we also have this mindset of winning daily, staying positive, and we're really trying to get it out past beyond sports gambling and DFS. We really in fantasy sports, we really do want to start eclipsing into that pop culture, social commentary area where we can really help people win daily through life. And I do appreciate you giving us a little insight into that. I do, my uncle's a very big Raiders fan, so we don't play too much fantasy sports because the same thing. He always just takes all the Raiders players. So it's kind of, I don't get to have any of them. He gets all of them. So it's kind of funny how that works. But
Well, that's probably a good thing for you over the last 20 years,
for
right?
the last couple of years, I won't lie. It hasn't, Derek Carr had that incredible year a few years ago. But other
Yeah.
than that, yeah, I guess not too bad. But enough about that. When and how did you fall in love with the Raiders?
Oh man, it just was brought on to me by my dad when I was a little kid, man. I remember being I was about 10 years old, and the Raiders were about to play the Vikings in the Super Bowl, and the game was about to start, and I was a little Raider tyke running around, and I kind of wanted to go outside and play with my friends about 15 minutes before the game started, and figure I could get back in front of the TV 15 minutes later in time for kickoff. And my dad didn't like that too much, and he made me come in the house, sit down, watch this game, son. So, I guess that's the day that it kind of drove home the point. But I've been a fan my whole life. My father was a big fan in the heyday of the silver and black, and so I'm hoping someday those days return.
I'll cross my fingers for you, man. The football is better when the Raiders are good, right? Baseball is better when the Yankees are good. You need either you need that villain or you need someone to cheer for, and I think the Raiders kind of fit that bill on either side of the coin, which I think is fantastic. So I'm crossing my fingers for you. And as I said before, my uncle too. He's kind of I want him to be happy as well.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Of course, man. And so, how you fall in love with the Raiders at a young age? You're following them your whole life. How do you start something like the Black Hole, especially that first year, those first couple years? How did you really get the ball going and really kind of get this thing to become something real?
Well, so when the Raiders were still in Los Angeles in 1994, there were rumors about them potentially coming back to Oakland. So myself, my buddy Dave, my buddy Harry, Junebug, a few other guys, man, we said, hey, if this team comes back to Oakland, we're kind of young and wild and crazy. We like to have a good time, and we're watching this dog pound thing on TV, the Cleveland Browns in their end zone. Why don't we do something similar? So lo and behold, the announcement was made. 1995, they came back, but the stadium was being reconfigured. The new reconfiguration of the stadium wasn't going to fully take hold until 1996. So in 95, we used that year, their first year back in Oakland, to just recruit some people. tell them about this idea that we have. We all want to sit together in the end zone once the reconfiguration takes place. But let's kind of make this thing official right now, and let's get a bunch of people on board. And next year, we can all decide on a place in the stadium to call home, and do this black hole thing, and wear these big block lettering shirts and paint our faces a little bit, and just have a whole lot of fun with it. And so, in '95, we're playing the Indianapolis Colts, and this is absolutely a true story, Michael. If ever you saw the E60 piece that was done on us, they actually showed this particular clip. But the Colts had kicked off at one point of the game, and Napoleon Kaufman got it, ran all the way back, and leaped into the end zone. Well, I wasn't sitting in that area, but I had snuck down to that area. My good friend Junior Herrera and myself, we had a couple of beers in our hands, and we decided, hey, let's sneak down to the first row of the end zone, south end zone, and let's catch a few series down there. And so there were a couple of seats that was wide open. Actually, one was just a cement slab that it looked like the seat had been ripped out or broken. So I took that spot. He took the seat. We were literally there 5 minutes, beers in hand, and I'm in a catcher's position on that cement slab, and Kaufman gets the kick return. He jumps in the end zone, and I shit you not, Michael, he jumped right in my arms. And so I got out of that game, obviously euphoric. It was an unbelievable feeling. We didn't know what section we wanted to be. We didn't know how we were going to congregate everybody together. But I got out of that game, and I told all my buddies, man, that was me. Snuck down to the end zone. He jumped in my arms. They're like, yeah, Rob, you're full of shit. That wasn't you. And yada yada yada. Well, the next day in the paper, front page of the paper was Kaufman and my big fat head holding him up, and we knew right then and there that section 105, row 1 of the south end zone, when the reconfiguration would take place, is where we want to be. And so 96 came. We made a bunch of calls, got a bunch of people together, got everybody pooled together, had a contact at the Oakland Football Marketing Association, and Auntie Sandy, who worked there at the time, that's what we called her, hooked us up. We all got our seats together. Funny little side story is that they didn't want to give the first 3 rows to season ticket holders or PSO holders. They considered those seats undesirables. Undesirable locations. So we demanded, we said, hey, you got X amount of season ticket holders here and PSL holders, and look, if you guys want us to forfeit, then don't give us these seats, but we want row 1. And so they bent. We took row 1 and we put it all in action. The first game we decided to go out there wearing these shirts that said the black hole on them, having some banners. We'd make effigies of visiting players. At the time, we just would put a couple of war stripes on our face. It wasn't what you see now. That just kind of developed over time. And, to back up a second, most of our members, 99% of our members globally, they don't dress up, but that 1% that does, they're colorful, they're fun. You see the gorilla, you see Violator, you see Senior Raider Man, you see all these guys, and they're fun. So, but at the time, we just put some war stripes on and went to battle. And our battle was basically us against the visiting team, and we did our best to disrupt them. We stood up for 4 quarters, so everybody from row 2, 3, 20, whatever, if we stood up, they had to stand up. I can remember in the early days, they would throw bottles at us and peanuts and say, sit down and all that sort of stuff. But something funny started happening. Those that didn't want to stand up for 4 quarters started to move out of that section. And those that wanted to be a part of that atmosphere started moving in. And it became a mosh pit. It became a fan phenomenon. And it just really just took off from there. And years later, it's something we're really proud of. But our mission in the beginning was not just to have the end zone be called the black hole, but have whatever stadium we reside in be called the black hole, with everybody wearing black and everybody over the top, passionately, positively fanatical.
I love it, man. I just think it's such a cool story. And obviously, everybody that has watched a football game or cares about the NFL, they've heard about the black hole. As I said, I did not know that it was an organization. I thought it was just a fan base, and you guys were crazy enough that you were given a name. But I think it's even cooler this way, that you actually you brought people together and you did everything that needed to happen to make this a real legitimate operation. And as you said, you love that it's passionate, but it's positive. We're not trying to do anything bad, and there's always going to be a bad apple in a bunch. That's just how it works. But you never really hear anything bad about the black hole. You just hear about how passionate they are. You never hear negatives. It's always they're crazy, but they're the good kind of crazy. You want them on your side kind of crazy, and everyone knows about them. And I just think it's such a cool way of going about, not just being a fan, but even taking that extra step further and getting other people involved. And as you said, hey, those people that didn't want to stand up for 4 quarters, all right, they're gone. And now everybody that's in that section 105, I think, is fantastic. And they're all part of your community and your tribe. And when was it in 1995 when you guys, I guess, solidified the black hole and all of these opportunities, or when did it actually become like a full-fledged organization with, NFL licensing involved?
Yeah, man, it's been quite the ride. So in the early years, it just was us out there, doing all we can to support the team. And, it's still the same today. But back then, there was nothing but a bunch of guys having a good time barbecuing, guys and gals, barbecuing, having a good time, cheering the team, over the top fanaticism, and just having fun, man. And, as the years went on, something really weird started to happen. Well, I could probably give a lot of credit to a guy by the name of JT the Brick. He's one of the number one nighttime syndicated radio hosts today. But at the time, he was an up and comer, and we invited him to our tailgate, and we played the Brick House song for him. We used to sneak in bands at our tailgate. That's a whole nother story. Our tailgates were notoriously famous and well known because it was one hell of a party. So we brought him, and then lo and behold, he got a gig here in the Bay Area. That's where I'm currently at still, and so he got a gig here on the Ticket 1050, and just really started blowing the black hole up on the radio, man. He became good friends with us, and we got a lot of airtime. And then things really started to propel. We started getting contacted by everybody to do TV segments and interviews and so forth. And the name started to just grow. And pretty soon, announcers would call the place the Black Hole, and they wouldn't call it by whatever stadium paid for that branding. I mean, they would say, "Welcome to the Black Hole." I mean, it just became unbelievable to us, and we used to have to pinch ourselves. So partway through the ride, we went to, register our trademark, and through that process, it ended up us having to get into a agreement with the NFL and the Oakland Raiders, and on the other end, we're now officially NFL licensed, and we then started to get a lot of interest from people around the world that just wanted to be a part of this, man. I mean, we started to throw the best events, the best tailgates, the best fan experiences, just everything, man. And so people started reaching out from all corners of the world, and they wanted to start chapters and this and that. So, sitting here today, we got a number of chapters, but we're about to launch a brand new website. As you know, our new frontier is in Vegas, and I could touch on the feelings about that now if you want, or I can wait for
we'll get there. We'll get there.
But we're about to launch this new site, and with that, we've already got over, probably close to 200 chapter inquiries that just want to get started and become a Black Hole chapter and just be a part of this fun fan thing that we're doing, man. And so it's just been tremendous, man. And every year it just gets a little better. And we're heartbroken over the move, but I'll touch on that soon, I'm sure.
Yes, let's stay positive as long as we can. Obviously the move is, even people that don't live in Oakland, it's still weird. I grew up, so as you said, 94 is when they moved out of LA. I was born in 91. So pretty much my whole life, they've been the Oakland Raiders. So it's going to be very weird. It's going to be very, it's going to be different, but I do want to focus more on you guys and what you're doing, especially as you said, be good to good people. And that gentleman, Mr. Brick, I think his name was, he helped then spread your message and spread it far and wide throughout the Bay Area. And I think that that is a great way. You helped him out, he helped you out, and you guys pretty much were able to rise together, which I think is pretty fantastic. And that's always a good story. But how did you go about, I guess, constructing a community and keeping it that tribe and that community mentality? Like, how did you make sure everything was structured enough that it made sense and it was all in place, but at the same time, as you said, you guys were still able to throw these crazy tailgate parties and sneak in all these bands constantly? Like, how did you kind of keep everything together so it didn't get too, I guess, too crazy and too out of the way?
Anytime you do anything, there's always going to be knockoffs. There's always going to be those that you just can't get them to fall in line for whatever reason. But we just have always tried to do our best. Um, my family's is from Hawaii, so I like to practice the aloha spirit, right? To where you're welcoming, you have a smile on your face, you surround yourself with good people, and just thank goodness, a lot of the people from the very beginning up until now, we got a lot of good people, man. I mean, people that are just genuinely good people. And so when somebody new walks up and they're kind of afraid to step their toe into the Black Hole tailgate, man, we got people grabbing them by the arm and saying, "Get in here, man, grab a beer, here's some food, man, enjoy yourself." And so, we've gotten a lot of help to keep things kind of together by our own people over the years. But we're also, we've also done our best. A lot of times, learning the hard way to kind of put things together and make sure there's a structure behind it. Um, our you know, our system isn't refined to the point to where we think that we've identified every little challenge that's going to come up. And as you continue to grow, that's always a more and more of a challenge. But as time goes on, we just try to find the right levers to pull and the right plugs to put in. And we've seen to do a pretty good job of it. And I think a lot of it has to do too, because people love the ride that we're on. And because they love it, they're going to support it, and they're going to police it themselves. And so, like, our chapters do a great job of making sure they get good people in their chapters. Every now and then we'll have to kick somebody to the curb that's a part of our fan organization because, man, they're just not a good person, or they're not, they don't vibe the way we vibe. And we welcome this to everybody, all ages. I mean, we got members that are, that are way up in age, and we got, a bunch of middle-aged people and a bunch of young people, and all together, there's a lot of respect and love for each other. It's just different genres, different eras, all kind of coming together. But we police our own, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
And that's a great way to do it, especially if you surrounded yourself with good people. You surrounded yourself with people that think like you, as you said, that aloha spirit, that positivity. Hey, we're here, we're passionate about something. We can all be passionate about the same thing, but we can move it in the correct direction rather than, making ourselves look bad, making the team we love so much look bad. I always think it's really funny that, it's, getting to talk to you and understanding. I mean, I've obviously, again, we all know about the black hole at this point, and it looks very intimidating, but as the more I talk to you, the more you're just such a nice guy and a positive guy, and you're just trying to help and do all these things. It's very funny kind of what the outside world thinks and may think of you guys, which seems to be very incorrect, which sometimes is very intimidating, hard-nosed, like very angry people. But that's just on Sundays. And that's only to the opposing team. The rest of the time, we're here to have fun. We're here to be good people. We're here to do good things. And as you said,
Michael, on that point, not to cut you off, but I
no, no, no.
but I just feel like I have to say this. On that point, Raider fans get a bad rap, and the media just, they love to sensationalize things, right? And they love to take something and put a name to it. And so anytime that anything negative would happen in that football stadium, they would love to quite often take our name, because we have the name, and kind of attach it to that. Hey, the black hole did this, the black hole did that. But as far as our fan organization and our members, the bylaws and the things that we expect them to kind of adhere to, we actually lead the way in positive change, man. We've assisted the team with PSAs, man. I mean, we're constantly talking about being positively fanaticized, and just make sure that it's, things are positive, man, and so, have fun with it. But, come on, man, at the end of the day, we all got to go home to our families. We have a lot of members that, we got attorneys, one of Alex Rodriguez's attorneys is a member of the Black Hole. I mean, we got a finance manager with an NBA team. We got, we got the average Joe that, works in a warehouse all the way up to an executive at Kaiser and Chevron. I mean, come on, man. And at the end of the day, you couldn't tell them apart. Like if you go to our tailgate, you wouldn't know who's who because man, it's just about love and a beer and a brat and having a good time, And so, uh, yeah, we just kind of laugh at the label, but
Good.
as long as we know what we're about.
Exactly, and you should, and I completely agree. And that's the point I was trying to make is, it does come off, the media does sensationalize it. That's just kind of what they do. But it's awesome knowing kind of how you guys operate and what you're trying to do and how you're doing it and how you're successful at it. That I think is the most important part. And I only a couple more minutes here, but really do appreciate your time again, Robin. When was the first time someone came to you from another city, another state, another country and was like, "Hey, can I create a chapter where I'm from? Because me and all my Raiders friends, we want to be a part of this." Like, what was that like? And do you remember that story that well?
Yeah, oh, well, man, I wouldn't be able to pinpoint the time. I just know that it was in the 90s. Probably 97, 8 or 9. It got to be one of those 3 years. And we had somebody contact us from Anchorage, Alaska, and they had about 30 people wanted to be a member and be a chapter. But we just weren't ready at that time. And then not too soon after that, we had some people from New York came down. They were checking out our tailgate. We invited them in. We became friends, and they became our first official chapter, our New York chapter. And so JT and Tony and the guys, they've been around for a while, and they've been tremendous. So yeah, that's kind of the earliest that I remember.
That's pretty awesome, man. And now, as you said, you don't even remember how many chapters you have. They're all over. Are you in all 50 states out of
Oh
curiosity?
no, not yet. But that's our goal. I mean, so as I mentioned, man, I got to preface this trek to Vegas by saying this that look, man, we're heartbroken over the move. Our heart and soul was ripped out. I came home the day of the announcement, and my daughters were crying, and it was very difficult for us to deal with. And but it's the nature of the beast. The NFL is a $1 billion business that they talk a lot about loyalty, but I think the loyalty is one way, to be quite honest. But our love for the team gives us one option, and that's going to be either follow them or quit watching football, because we wouldn't be able to watch another team. And we love football so much that we got to go along for the ride. So we're going to Vegas. Vegas is embracing us. Look, man, our heart and soul will always be in Oakland, but we're going on to Vegas, and with that, we got a lot of people that want to attach themselves to us. We're launching or we just launched a brand new website, theblackhole.com. Real easy, theblackhole.com. You guys can check it out pretty soon. And on that website, you'll see a page where our chapters are located, but it's going to be updated here extremely soon with a bunch of new additional chapters, because we're going to be funneling out all these people that have been waiting a while. And we're just excited about the future, but we're heartbreaking over the past, and we're kind of torn. But the ride's got to go on, man. I mean, we have a responsibility to all of our members, and they're not all here from the Bay Area now. So the Black Hole is going to continue, and we'll figure out a way to continue to make our mark and do our thing in Vegas.
And we're excited to watch it. And I cannot imagine what that's like, right? Like going to all these games for as long as you have since 95, I think you said. I'm sure you were going to games before then. And really just kind of having happen is just it's just very unfortunate. And I don't know what that feeling's like. And I'll be honest with you, I really hope I never know what that feeling's like, because I can't imagine what it would be like if my New York Giants up and left one day and I was never able to go to another game, or if they're in another state, or I don't know if you've been to the New York City area, but getting to that stadium's already terrible. If they made it worse on me, I wouldn't be too excited about that. But with the move to Vegas, let's look at it from use your mindset, that positivity, that spirit, that understanding. How are you looking at this from a positive view, I guess, for lack of a better term? And what are you looking forward to doing now with this move to Vegas, rather than, as you said, looking back and being heartbroken, which that'll always happen. Your heart and soul will always be in Oakland. But what are you looking forward to with the move to Vegas?
Well, I guess what I'm looking forward to is this, Michael. Um, I'm looking forward to the challenge of taking what we created and just making it that much more bold, bigger, and dynamic. And I think Vegas brings that, right? Because obviously Oakland is not Vegas. Oakland is a blue collar town, and Vegas is glitz, fun, and big time entertainment, right? And so, we've done tremendous events, man. I'm talking just people leave and they're shaking their head going, what just happened? That was so much fun. Now we're going to be able to take that and we're going to be able to partner up with a casino, and we're going to be able to take that entertainment aspect event and have it at new destinations and make it that much more bigger and better. Now we're going to be able to easily put together black hole off-season fan conferences, conventions, to where all of our chapters fly in, because who's not going to want to fly into Vegas, right? Obviously, when this pandemic is over and things are back to normal, like what chapter isn't going to want to come to Vegas and just be a part of something like that? So things that we've always wanted to do on an even bigger note, now we're going to be able to accomplish that. We even recently got an office right across the street from the stadium. So we're excited about what we're going to be doing and how we're going to just be able to take what we've built and make it better. And look, our doors are wide open as far as if there's any third parties out there that want to connect to the black hole and want to collaborate, want to sponsor, want to partner, what have you, contact us. They can contact us at contact@theblackhole.com. That's the email that we'll be using, contact@theblackhole.com, or that we are using with this new website. And let's figure out ways to put some synergies together. And just, at the end of the day, we're constantly, because we've got a tremendously large fan base and we've got a tremendously large following and we've got even more things in the works, we want to be able to continue to grow our fan experience and just make it more fun and just better and more creative and just do so much more fun shit than we ever done in the past. So, that's kind of what our goals are.
I love it, man. And thank you for that. And again, I understand it's never going to be the same, but yeah, who's not going to want to fly into Vegas for an event? Who's not going to want to hang out with you guys there? And I think that there are a lot of opportunities that you guys are going to take advantage of. And I think there's going to be a lot more opportunities for the organization, as you said, with partners and sponsors, potentially a casino. There's so much stuff. And, I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll still, again, it's never going to be the same, but I think there's a lot of opportunities that can come from it and come with it, that it still will be very enjoyable. And you'll be able to spread this message of positivity and passion for the Raiders further and wider, which I think is fantastic. And then the last question I have for you is, do you guys still have that section 105 in the new stadium, or how exactly does that opportunity work? Is there anything kind of set in stone yet for that?
No, it's funny. The new stadium has brought a whole new set of challenges. In Oakland, we did it organically. We did it in a way to where we didn't ask. I mean, we just went and hung a banner and did our things and claimed our spot. It's a little different now. This is going to be the apple of the eye for the entire league. And I think the league and the team and all the executives and all the stadium sponsorships and all that sort of stuff is going to make it extremely difficult for us to claim our space. we would love for that team, for the league to say, look, man, you guys supported us through thick and thin. You guys never left. As a matter of fact, you guys continue to grow and recruit more season ticket holders to support the terrible football that we showed you guys. Look, as a thank you, let's label this section the black hole, and you guys continue to do what you're going to do. So our people will be there, but as far as a label, a banner, something that claims our spot, that's something that we hope to achieve. We just don't know how. We may need to go back to the very beginning and just have all of our thousands of people wear these big, bold black hole shirts that say the black hole, and eventually, that's going to grow in a different organic type of way. But we're going to continue the ride. I do want to just make clear to all of our Bay Area Raider and brothers out there and sisters that look, man, our heart is always in Oakland. Some Raider fans have chosen to do an us versus them type of stance. At the end of the day, man, it's one Raider Nation for us. So, while we're continuing the black hole ride, our hearts will always be heavy, and our souls will always be stuck in Oakland. But we're going to continue to do what we can just to continue to have the fun that we're having, and we don't want it to end. So we'll never turn our back on Oakland. We fought for Oakland while they were in Oakland. But now we lost that fight, and now it's time to continue the ride.
That's incredible, man. And yeah, I cannot imagine what that's like. And I appreciate your openness and honesty and intimacy during this. I think it's, you've done a great job at explaining what's going on and how it's going on, but also understanding that, yeah, as you said, the ride's going to have to go on. You still love the Raiders. That's never going to change. And I think, again, some of the opportunities with Vegas and with what can come with it can then again spread that message that you've been spreading for the last 25 years or whatever it's been of positivity, of passion for this team that you all love. And I think that's the number one thing we can get out of it. And I think the number one thing that can be really had through this opportunity is there's a lot that you can still do by spreading that message through this new city. So I love it. Rob, this was absolutely fantastic. Really appreciate your time today, man. Rob Rivera, co-founder and president of the Black Hole. Everything that you talked about will be in the show notes. So I'll have all that information for you guys and girls listening. You can go check it out. Maybe start your own chapter somewhere if one doesn't exist. I think Anchorage, Alaska is already taken. So just go join that one. But Rob, really appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much, Michael. I appreciate you having the interest in the black hole, man.